Hello everybody, what is going on? My name is Raven. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about some top vampire book series to read. Now, I'm going to kind of go with the ones I have read first and then go with the list and the site here. So number one, the House of Night series. It is a fantastic series. There is not only the main series, but there's a post-series and there's a spin-off series with some of the other characters. Absolutely love the book series. It is incredibly amazing to me. They have so much detail, so the huge story itself is just pure amazing. And poor Miss Zoe goes through so much. She's a lead character. So much heartbreak and love and adventure, and she loses people and she has to save others. And it's one of those heart-wrenching stories that I just absolutely love. Another one that I love to read so much is called A Shade of Vampire. Now, there are a whole lot of books to this series. I actually have an entire bookcase full of just these. There's probably over 40 books, if I were to hazard a guess. And I'm not even halfway through them. I love them so much, but it's hard to find time to read lately. But I absolutely love the story. It is very interesting. It's very amazing to read. And I'm so entranced in the story. They have so many characters into it, so many beasts, so many monsters. And they make it real fun to read. This next book is not necessarily vampires, but it is about immortal beings. And it is called the Immortal series. They are immortal beings that they cannot die, essentially. Well, for the most part. They have to drink a certain drink. It stops their aging, things like that. So because they are immortal, I am putting them in the vampire list, but again, they are not vampires. They don't drink blood to survive. They drink a very weird concoction. And it is a very good series as well. I've read it a couple times now. There's more than 5 books to it. It's not as big as the other 2 series I've mentioned, but again, it is still full of detail. Now to the list on the site. These are actual legit vampire books that are on this list. Number 1 is The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. It is set under the looming shadow of the yellow fever epidemic. Does that sound familiar? The Beautiful centers on Celine, a 17-year-old Parisian dressmaker, takes shelter in a New Orleans, Louisiana convent rather than let herself be seduced by the bright lights of the big city. But when one of the other girls at the convent is murdered by a serial killer, she throws herself into an investigation that reveals the truth about crimes and about herself as well. Number 2, Better Off Red by Rebecca Weatherspoon. This is, it says, lesbian vampire erotica, say no more. A no-nonsense college freshman joins the alluring sisters of the Alpha Beta Omega House, only to learn that they're actually a cult devoted to 6 vampiric demons. Enamored with the vampire queen, Ginger stays in the sorority circle, but can she protect the one she loves when trouble arrives at their doorstep? Number 3, Black Sun Rising by C.S. Friedman. A priest is tasked with helping other humans tap into the planet's stores of magic. He's soon sidetracked, however, when his lover falls victim to a brutal attack. She once could see the magic in the world, but now that her abilities have been taken away from her, she begins to lose her will to live. Number 4, Blue Bloods by Melissa de la Cruz. Vampires have quietly lived in the United States for centuries. The Bloodsuckers have wielded enormous influence over the city, all the while managing to keep their deadly secret under wraps. But now a teenager has died, another has broken out a rash of blue veins, and nothing will ever be the same again. Number 5, Certain Dark Things by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Let's see, what is this all about? The people of the capital are supposed to be safe from the warring vampire gangs, but Domingo realizes that may not be the case when he meets ATL, the heir to a vampiric Aztec legacy, on the run from bloodthirsty drug cartel. Number 6, Crave by Tracy Wolff. So if you missed Bella, Edward, and the rest of the Forks crew from Twilight, you're going to want to pick up this book. Okay, the first installment in Tracy's Wolf's paranormal YA series. After her parents are killed in a tragic accident, Grace relocates to Alaska, where her uncle oversees an elite boarding school for powerful non-human teenagers. As the only mortal to walk the hallowed halls, Grace receives a less than warm welcome from her classmates. Things seem to be looking up when she falls for Jackson, a charismatic teen vampire. But does she have what it takes to be part of his world? Or does she even want to? Number 7, Fledgling by Octavia E. Butler. Vampire wakes up in a remote cave, unable to remember anything about her life. Shori looks like a young black girl, so much so that Wright, the man who finds her on the side of the road, thinks she must be a missing child. When Shori feeds on him, however, she and Wright form a powerful symbiotic bond that can't be broken. Number 8, The Gilda Stories by Jewel Gomez. The immortal protagonist through 200 years of her long life, when she runs away from the Louisiana plantation where she'd been held in bondage, she takes refuge in a brothel run by a vampire named Gilda. After she is transformed into a vampire herself, Gomez's heroine takes her rescuer's name and begins to forge her own path across the United States. Number 9, Halfway to the Grave by Janine Frost. Side note, before I actually read the info about this, I have read the series. I have this series. I was going to mention it beforehand, but I saw it was on the list. I decided to wait till now. This series is amazing. You know, a girl born from a human and a vampire. I'm going to read it in a minute. But this story, I absolutely love the story as well. It is a couple books long, but it is so, you get so engrossed in the story. Let's find out about it. Okay, so like I said, she is a half vampire who teams up with a demon hunter to take revenge on her father, who is a vampire who kind of knocked up her human mother. Bones is a full-fledged vampire, a man whom Kat is predisposed to hate, but who might just hold the key to finding her estranged dad. When a killer cabal starts pursuing the pair, however, Kat must decide whether she can trust Bones or if she's better off on her own. I absolutely love this story. It is amazing. And like I said, it's a few books long, and her strange father, her mother, everything is so weird, but I love it. I absolutely love it. Number 10, The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. The unnamed narrator joins her father's quest to learn the truth about rumored vampire Vlad Tepes, also known as Vlad the Impaler, the inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula. Years ago, her dad journeyed around the world to get to the root of the Dracula myth. Before him, his mentor did the same. Now the protagonist learns what happened back then and finds herself swept up in her predecessor's mission. Number 11, In the Ravenous Dark by A.M. Strickland. Rowan's always hidden her magic, knowing that if Thermopolis' rulers learned she was a blood mage, they'd saddle her with a spirit capable of controlling her every move. When worse comes to worse, Rowan finds herself linked to the spirit Avrilos and working with Lydia, a princess of Thermopolis who wants to change their world for the better. Number 12, The Lights of Prague by Nicole Jarvis. It centers on a character named Domek, a lamplighter, or aka monster hunter, who works behind the scenes to keep the city's people safe from the forces that would destroy them all. The worst of these foul creatures, which is called the Pijavis, I'm guessing, I could be wrong about the pronunciation, I do apologize. The worst of these foul creatures only crave blood, and they're planning an attack that could snuff out humanity once and for all. Lost Souls is number 13 by Poppy Z. Brown. Now this book revolves around a group of wandering outcasts who find themselves face to face with an ancient evil in the American South's underground party scene. Minion is number 14 by L.A. Banks. A musician turned vampire hunter is drawn into a chilling mystery when artists from her record label and a competitor begin to turn up dead in a series of grisly murders. It doesn't seem like a work of a vampire, but if it is, it's the most powerful bloodsucker that Damali's ever met. Number 15, Morrigan's Cross by Nora Roberts. You follow a ragtag group of warriors chosen by the eponymous goddess to do battle against her greatest foe, the vampire known as Lilith. Among the fighters are twin brothers Hoyt and Xian, one a sorcerer who has tried and failed to defeat Lilith, and the other a vampire turned by Morrigan herself. Number 16, The Maltharis by Rachel Klein. The unnamed narrator, her roommate, and the school's newest student converge in this tense gothic novel. Told through a series of journal entries, The Maltharis is a record of two obsessions, the narrator's fixation on her roommate Lucy and Lucy's own attachment to the mysterious and pale newcomer Ernessa. Number 17, My Soul to Keep by Tananarive. I am sorry if I mispronounced that name. It is a very interesting name to try to say. But the first novel in this series is African Immortal series. It's called African Immortals series. Focuses on one family's determination to remain together no matter the cost. Jessica thought she met her perfect match when she married David. Then people began to die. David and his family back in Ethiopia aren't what they appear to be. Now an ancient organization wants him to come home. Unwilling to be parted from his wife and daughter, he'll take a huge risk to grant them both immortality. Number 18, Opium and Absinthe by Lydia Kang. In a city still abuzz with talk of Bram Stoker's must-read novel, a vampiric serial killer lurks in the shadows. When her sister turns up exsanguinated, bearing the mark of a vampire's kiss on her neck, bookish Chili Pembroke will stop at nothing to catch the perpetrator. But will Tilly's newfound dependence on laudanum prevent her from bringing the murder to justice? I am so sorry. I am mispronouncing words left and right today. I will continue the next part of this list of books in the next video. So make sure you keep a lookout for that. And if you all enjoyed today's video or enjoy vampire books in general or anything vampire mystical related, let me know in the comment section down below. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye!